hello there. I know you love daring abroad, and here I have another fantastic story from Perth City in Western Australia. And I'm talking to Daniel Pate.
Thank you.
Pate is what, a Luhya name?
Yes, Pate is a Luhya name.
He comes from Busia.
Busia,
yes,
Kenya.
Busia. And Pate came to Australia. Which year was this?
2013.
2013.
January the 21st.
As an international student. Which university?
University of Charles Darwin.
Yeah, University of Charles Darwin. Darwin. And,
yes, please.
He's now a practitioner in the field of
alcohol and other
drugs. And you may have heard stories about people living abroad, Kenyans living abroad, immigrants abroad, the challenges they go through. One of the challenges is that area, I mean, drugs, alcohol. So let me just begin. First of all, did you come on a scholarship? How did you come? You were self-funded?
I came, I had been in South Africa and then returned back home. And time came that I thought I needed to advance in my studies, and Australia was a good destination. So I sold everything I had at the age of 35 and came for my studies in Australia. And
you had been working in Kenya?
Yes, I'd worked in 7 African countries in the humanitarian services.
Okay, so you completed your studies. Yeah, which year was that?
I have actually continued studying, and actually at the moment I'm doing my second master's in emergency and disaster, focusing on alcohol and other drugs.
So what exactly do you do?
I am an alcohol and other drug practitioner, and apart from that, I'm also the current champion of the organization of African Community, the Champion of the Year 2023, and I've been participating in the Kenyan community over the last 10 years. And that in brief, I'm also a person who believes in remittances back home. And in this case, I am also remitting goodwill, and I'm also remitting services that are philanthropic, that are charitable based. So we have a charity that we're running called Made Insure. Made Insure is there to transform lives from Australia direct to Kenya in surgical missions. So every year, we'll be going to Kenya, a team of Kenyans living in Australia and the rest of the world. You are most welcome to join us to transform lives one county at a time. And we are actually doing this as a way of remitting our skills and knowledge. I know much has been talked about remitting, buying property, but we are actually remitting service. And the best investment we can have is health.
Okay, and actually, Pate was one of the sponsors, so his organization sponsored the Daring Abroad Investment Forum in Perth. And as you can see from the videos, I saw you interacting with the people there. So exactly what were they seeking to find from you?
We have a fantastic gala coming up on the 18th of May 2024. I can assure you, Alex, we are going to have people coming in at Duxton Hotel in Perth City with only one purpose: to raise funds so that we can send a delegation of Kenyans and Australians to Western Kenya. We shall be at Busia Referral Hospital and the famous Alupe Sub-County Hospital. We know Alupe is known for trypanosomiasis, sleeping sickness, but we are actually going there to do surgical mission for a week. 1st of December to the 8th of December, we shall be in Busia, and next year we shall roll out to other counties, and you can follow us on our website to know how Made Insure is directly having an impact in people's lives.
So Made Insure is about transforming lives?
Yes, please.
And I just expound again, and you're saying from Australia to Kenya?
Yes.
Yeah, meaning?
Meaning skilled migrants that came to Australia who are now Kenyan Australian citizens or Kenyan Australian permanent residents. We are actually doing it by actionizing our love, by tracking our skills, our talents and opportunity to serve in the hospitals. Many of us were trained in Kenya. Many of us are doctors here. Many of us are practitioners here. Many of us are nurses here. Actually, we have one of the biggest per capita of nurses in the whole of Australia, Kenyans. And we are respected. There's no hospital you'll go in Australia and fail to get a Kenyan medical practitioner.
Okay, so let me go back to your field. So what have you observed? Is it a big problem, the problem of drugs? and alcohol, and how are you helping to deal with it?
Well, I'll say that Australia is a very fortunate country. We have systems in place. Millions of dollars have been invested in supporting people who are going through substance abuse. And by substance, we are not only restricting ourselves to alcohol and other drugs. We have other forms of addiction. For example, gambling, sex as an addiction. You know, there are people who have people addiction. There are so many. So we address addiction as a health issue, and we have moved away from the criminalization of huyu amekunywa pombe au huyu anatumia miadarati. We are supporting. And so I think the holistic approach is that we can learn the Australian way, that it has worked.
Yes.
Over the systems here have worked. And many of us who are in the industry, we feel that we can transfer this knowledge back home.
Is depression real in the diaspora?
Depression is real in the diaspora because this is an individualistic society. You know, when you come from home, there is what we call chama. There is somewhere you belong, even by your own name. For example, Chamwada, you'll find other Chamwadas that will associate with you. If you come from Nairobi, there is you might have come from a neighborhood where there is an association. Over here, it is between you, your house, your car, and work. The idea of belonging in a bigger, larger community, unless you are religious, where you go to religious places, depression is real. And we are requesting, if you are a diasporan and you feel you need help, we are here for you. We are here to give you support. We care, and that is the message. No one should be left alone.
Okay, and in these endeavors and what you are giving back to your country, Kenya, who are you collaborating with?
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. The Kenyans have naturally and have always been sufficiently philanthropic. Why? If there is funerals at home, we give. If there are school fees to be paid, Kenyans are remitting money to touch and transform lives. So it was a natural symbiotic relationship where simply because we are in the West, it does not take away our philanthropy. Naturally, if you go to Mama Mboga and you lack mboga, a Kenyan will just give you the mboga. So I think it's in our DNA that we generally give. And so me, as a person, I have a job. I am well paid by the public service, but at the same time, I have a heart to return back kule ambapo tulianzia. We are working with county governments in Kenya. I will be able to say that I have received very good welcome. And so if you know you are Kenyan Australian and you have good contacts with your county, please come to us. We want to take that approach because we have 47 counties and we want to reach out to all counties. The whole idea is we shall be having surgical galas, raising funds, every state of Australia. This is just an inaugural gala on the 18th of May 2024. We are starting with Perth. And just as Alex says, daring abroad, we are actually daring in West Australia, saying we are coming to all other states so that we can be able to create more resources and have what we call direct impact in people's lives, the most vulnerable patients. Every county in Kenya should have an impact to us. I think we consider ourselves as diplomats in a small way, trying to be the brand of Kenyans in Australia back home.
Na ni kazi gani unafanya sasa?
Sasa mimi ninafanya kazi kama an alcohol and other drug practitioner. I work with clients from the court, what we call the drug court. Tunafanya na clients ambao wametumia miadarati kwa community. Tunafanya na watu ambao maisha imewalemea, wanakuwa na depression. Na tunafanya na wale ambao wamepelekwa jela kwa sababu walikuja huku, wakaleta ujanja. Kwa hivyo, I think I look at life from an aspect of I work with the most vulnerable.
What would you want to tell that Kenyan who wants to dare abroad? The men see Maju as, heaven, a bed of roses, kule hakuna matata.
I think what I'll say that a good name is better than riches. And wherever you go, if you have a goodwill, if you respect people, if you are concerned about the welfare of others, if you have the discipline and you believe in a fair go, this is the place to be. But I'll also be able to cautious people. Australia, unlike Europe and the US, this is a place where people live with very strict values. It is very easy for you to get into trouble if you come here with dodgy behaviors, if you want to cut corners. Please do not come to Australia. I humbly request you, try other places. But if you are a decent human being, this is the place to be. We have thousands of Kenyans. You have interacted with us. Most of us, you know, the idea that people come in, they do as per their required visa requirements, and they progress to be citizens like me.
Wow, wow. So you've had, you know, majusi, mahali pakua doji, and cutting corners, you know, you won't survive. And that's the parting shot from Daniel. Asante sana,
Asante
Daniel,
sana
for talking to us.
Asante sana.
Wa Kenya and, you know, people all over the world have heard you, and you are eager to give back to your community back home. And I think we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Asante sana.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, karibu tena Kenya, tutakuwa na kungoja huko.
Asante, asante sana.